Check your inbox, operator. Maybe August will get a message someday.
Greetings, Tenos, and welcome back to Warframe TOG. Um, we are well in the middle of Act 3 of that, which is spoilers for everything following the War Within and the Second Dream. And for the last couple of weeks, we have been focused a lot on relics and Aya and Barakatir, and we have actually had a little bit of a break in that finally. We now are going to work on some new things. So, one of the things we managed to do during all of that is create a lot of new things in the foundry. Now, I didn't do anything over this weekend, so this stuff has been languishing in here, waiting for me to claim it. Oh, we have a lot of weapons. I have the Amphis, the Boar, the Dragoon, the Dread, the Ether Daggers, the Fang, Gorgon, Lecta, Lex Prime, Stubba, Tack and Lug, Tonkat, and Vulker as weapons. But we also have Octavia Prime and Yareli, which are new Warframes. Yareli is one that everybody could get, so I'm going to focus on her first tonight. I have a limited amount of time. And assuming we have time, I will start looking at Octavia Prime. We got a Prime version of Octavia. The normal version of Octavia is not accessed this way. It is accessed through a quest and then farming the parts. So we are getting Octavia early.
Stand by while I analyze
So,
the
what I'm going to
intelligence
do is I'm
reports
going to
of the
claim
radio.
some weapons first.
Error,
I want a
not a
secondary
number.
weapon. I'm going to claim
Did
this
the
Lex
operator
Prime.
enjoy this witticism?
We need new weapon slots because we're running out of weapon slots. Early on, you could actually get rid of weapons if I wanted to. I could go do that right now. But I know at some point I'm going to need to keep more weapons than I currently have slots for. So I'm buying extra slots now. I have the platinum. That's not a big deal. Okay. So I've got that. I'm going to claim the Lex Prime. All right. I want a melee weapon to claim. Okay. And I'm going to claim the Amphis for that one. And I want a primary weapon to claim. And I'm going to claim Dread. Okay. Which is a pretty nice little weapon. All right. So, actually, is there anything I want more right now than Dread? No, I'm going to claim Dread. All right. And I have to buy more weapon slots. Okay. All right. There'll be a point where I'm going to start looking and saying, no, let's get rid of some of the older weapons. But right now we haven't reached that point. Because you're going to always want to have a lot of weapons. Now, I happen to have an unread message here, by the way, that I'm going to look at real briefly. We get a Razorback Cipher blueprint. What that lets us do is participate in the Razorback Armada that's going on. And that can be useful to do that. We might do those later this week. All right. So, and then I'm going to claim a Warframe to go with all those weapons. And I'm claiming Yareli. And yes, I have to purchase another Warframe slot for that. Okay. We have the platinum. That's what we got the platinum for, was slots. Okay. So, in addition to slots, we're also getting things for Orokin catalysts.
Welcome.
Now, right now we have 100. I have no Orokin catalyst and no Orokin reactor. Okay. I know I want to put an Orokin reactor on Yareli, so I'm going to get that right now. Okay, and purchase it. Now, right now I'm not going to put the Orokin catalyst on any of those new weapons. Also, we have a whole new set of Nightwave stuff. We are getting along in Nightwave. We have the usual 3 kill enemies, do 15 missions, kill Eximuses. Winning 3 Ragers in a row without letting the enemy score one match of the index. In one match of the index? I don't know about that one. We might or might not be able to do that one. Opening one of each era tier of a relic, however, we can and will do this week sometime. Helping Clem with his weekly mission, we may do early. Clear a railjack boarding party without your Warframe taking damage is something we might be able to do. Marking mods or resources is easy. And completing a mission is easy. Deploying an air support charge in a mission. Ooh. Now there's something I hadn't thought of. I think we have some air support chargers. If I can spell, which I can't. No, I don't have any air support chargers right now. Nor are they in the gear wheel. That is something we would have to go to the dojo in order to get the blueprint for. So I'm not going to do any air support charges right now. Or get them from here either. We'll have to build those at some point. But I am going to go and start modding those new items that we have. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to switch to our default loadout, which we are already in, and because that is the loadout we're using for leveling up new things. And we're going to go in here, swap out Rhino, which we were re-leveling back up to level 30. He's only a level 28 because we put a Forma into him. But at level 28, he's pretty good. We'll get the other 2 later. And I am going to... Where is my Yareli? Oh, I never claimed it.
Operator, your chosen Warframe suits you.
I bought the slot, but I didn't claim the Warframe. And I think they did the same thing with the Dread. I didn't claim the Dread. Okay. We have another Dread blueprint already? Wow. Well, if I ever need a duplicate of it, I have that blueprint. Okay. So now I can go up here and swap out for Yareli. Okay. I'm going to swap out this Bratton Prime, which was our first Prime, by the way, and for the Dread. I'm going to swap out this Gamma Core for the Lex Prime. And I'm going to swap out the Broken War for the Amphis, which doesn't really, it's not as good. All right, so let's start with the weapons first. The Amphis, if we look at it, okay, it has a 21% status chance, but only a 13% critical chance. This is more of a status weapon than a critical weapon, which isn't too surprising. It has a staff stance. Do we have one? Yes, we do. It has that polarity, so it would be clashing forest and not flailing branch. Okay, we happen to have clashing forest, so I'll put that on there. That raises our available capacity to 30 right now. Now this is a status weapon, so if we look at our status-based things, we have this Virulent Scourge, which is added toxin and status chance. So I'm going to stick that on there. And we have Voltaic Strike. So that's going to give us corrosive damage and 46% status chance on that. Okay. Then we have 1 dash polarity in here. And if we look at our dash polarities, those are things like more stuff. Now I can get even more status chance and increase our slash on this. Unfortunately, impact, it's more impact than slash. So what I might do in here, let's see, Carnus Mandible is also, yeah, Gladiator Rush, Sundering Strike, Jagged Edge is more slash, Heavy Trauma is more impact. I don't know if I'll put anything in the dash polarity right now. Let's see where we are on basic damage. So basic damage consists of Crusher Point, which you definitely want to have on almost anything. That's there. So now we have a decent, not stellar, but decent. Its attack speed is 1.25, which is not bad. Let's see. So we do actually have some space to play around. Okay, so I can go in and put this Carnus Mandible on here, okay, without too much trouble, okay, and it just increases our status chance. The slash chance going up to 81 is not as significant, but the status chance is the more important of that. And now we're left with 2 left, which I can give it maybe a bit more slash. That would be not a bad thing. I can get more of that, but if I put more slash on there, nah, it's not going to make any difference. So let's put more impact. That'll make a more significant difference. Okay, so that's maxed out where we're going to be right now until it's been leveled up. The Lex Prime, which is our first secondary that is a prime, has a nice critical chance of 25 and the decent critical status chance of 25. So this is a pretty good weapon. Its fire rate of 2.08 is not all that great, and its magazine size is small. It takes a while to reload. Okay, so we're going to look here. Status. I like status. Status is always good. Crit. Let's see. Do we have any more status? No, we don't have much more status for this, but we do have crit. Target Cracker. We haven't done anything with Pistol Gambit or Target Cracker. No leveling on either of these right now. Okay. I'm going to put in Pistol Gambit. It's time to actually do something with some critical damage. And I'm going to rank it up fully because we have the Endo and the credits. There we go. So we have Pistol Gambit on there now, and we have a 55% chance of that and a 40% status chance. After all that, I could put on the Target Cracker, which would increase our critical damage, but I'd rather do just regular damage and put the Hornet Strike on there. We're going to swap that out with a pistol, and oh, we can't fit all 3 of them on. Darn it. I'm 1 short of fitting all 3 of them on. I shouldn't have raised Pistol Gambit up quite so high. Let's see. I'll put Auger Pact on there instead. Oh, actually, I'll put a better Auger Pact on there. I have 8. What am I thinking? Do I have a maxed out Auger Pact? Because right now, if you notice, and I go do this and I do this, the damage mods, if we look at damage, there's Hornet Strike. Oh no, actually that's this. I'm sorry. I wanted critical. I want my critical back up here. So this is a 120% damage. This is only 60. If I raise this up 2 more, yeah, it's going to come off of a number of things. All right, so now I have that, and I can put on the critical in its place. This is 90 versus 120, but now if we get the critical, I can put the Pistol Gambit back up here, and that's a pretty decent build for the Lex Prime right now. Okay. And we're going to want a decent build on our secondary when we get to, and I'll show you why in a little bit. Okay. Dread. Dread is a signature crossbow from the Stalker. We got this from the Stalker. Notice, if you do a charged shot, it has a critical chance of 50%. Okay. If you do a quick shot, it has a critical chance of 50%. Okay. So this is a high crit weapon. Okay. And you want to take full advantage of that. And the way you do that is you put Point Strike on here, and that's one of those. Okay. All right. And notice the damage. When you do a charge shot, it's the same as when you do the regular, except you're doing more damage as a base. Okay. So we're at 125. That means we're going to get at least a yellow crit. on this, or our chances of getting a yellow crit, an orange crit are high. Okay, and if we get over 200, we'll get super critical hits. This will be a great weapon for one of the Yareli builds we'll do later in the week. But right now, it's just a good weapon. Now, how long does it take to shoot? That's probably another thing we want to do there. But let's first look at other important things. Can we do more crit damage? We've got a multiple shot. We've got point strike, vital sense. This is crit damage. I want crit chance though. Have any more crit chance? Nope. That's all the crit chance we have. Okay. So the next thing we want to look for is damage. And Serration is clearly the winner for this. We'll put that on there as well. Doing a lot more damage even with a quick shot. And then maybe we'll throw on this Vital Sense to increase our critical damage to 3.6 times instead, because we know we're almost going to always get at least a yellow crit out there, which will double that to 7 times damage just for a quick shot. And then up here, it's going to be doing even more damage for that. So this is a pretty decent build already, and we haven't even put a catalyst on here or ranked it up. So that is our weapons. Now let's look at Yareli herself. Yareli has a passive. Yareli Yareli is a water-based frame and is designed to be moving around a lot, which isn't surprising considering that you get Yareli by doing things like K-Drive races for the Vent Kids. The Yareli blueprint came out of the Wave Rider quest. Well, there's a reason for that, and that is Yareli moves a lot like a K-Drive. Okay, so as long as you're moving for at least 1.5 seconds, you get plus 200% critical chance. Okay, only for secondary weapons. Okay, which is why you want a decent critical chance secondary weapon, because that will get multiplied while you're moving and do even better criticals. The Lex Prime will work for that. It's not the best choice, but it is a decent starter choice. Her first ability is Sea Snares. You shoot out up to 5 globes. Actually, it is always 5 globes of water. And what will happen is when they hit an enemy, they'll seek out the enemies. They'll actually follow along it slowly until they hit an enemy. And when they hit the enemies, they get lifted into the air. Okay. Kind of being immobilized. They'll take some damage per second. Okay. And they become more vulnerable to attack from other sources. All right. It doesn't last all that long to start with. It's only lasting 6 seconds to start with. And only has a range of 15, but it's an easy ability to do, and it's your first ability. You always have that. Marlena is what gives you the movement. Marlena is a sea creature who is Yareli's pet, I guess you could call it, and works exactly like a K-Drive. You ride Marlena just like a K-Drive. The difference being you ride Marlena anywhere, just like a K-Drive. So that means you can ride it inside pretty much every mission. Okay. You don't have to be in an open world to make use of Marlena. This is a good and a bad thing. In the open worlds are kind of designed for long movements. The other missions, moving around in it sometimes can be a tricky thing. Okay, and we'll see how that works. But the thing that you want to do with it is you want to be riding Marlena, at least unmodded, because while you're doing that, you have a 90% damage reduction. Instead of taking full damage from attacks, 90% of that damage goes to Marlena. It's like Rhino's Overdrive in that Overguard in that respect. Um, so Yareli is very, very hard to hurt or even kill while she's riding Marlena. Um, and in fact, because of shields and all that stuff, um, tends to be one of the best frames for running around and just not getting hurt at all. Um, uh, Marilena's protection will eventually wear off, and there is a 4-second time period right now, at least at this level, where you're invulnerable once Marlena goes away. All right, which gives you plenty of time to recast it. It doesn't take a lot to cast. Marlena is a very easy thing to cast. So unless you are completely starved out of energy, you can live indefinitely in a lot of places. It's very hard to kill you. Now, you're also immune to knockback, knockdown, and stuns while you're there. You can, however, be knocked off of Marlena, okay? Because you've attempted to do a jump and you failed to do the trick, just like if you were riding a K-Drive. And if that's the case, you have to recast Marlena to bring it back out. It's not like a K-Drive to sit around. If you get knocked off of Marlena, you have to recast Marlena. So that is basically what makes Yareli so survivable. It's really survivable. It's a new tank frame, basically, like Rhino is in many ways. Okay. So her third is called Aqua Blades. What those are is they're basically these spinning blades of water, okay, that cut through things as you move, okay. They last a decent amount just to start, 25 seconds without being modded in the slightest, okay. Costs a bit more to cast. And the damage is not at first really high. But here's the thing. If something's standing in that circle, and mind you, inside the circle, if it has to be on the edge of the circle where the blades are, otherwise it won't take the damage. Okay. But if it's standing there, just like those guys are in the video, they'll take the damage over and over with each blade that passes through them. And they go fast. So, for relatively low-level missions, you can turn this on, run through the mission, and pretty much kill everything. It's really easy to do. It's not hard to do at all. Do that on Marlena, and you're now riding through the mission, not getting hurt, while you are killing everything. And it also opens up containers in the process. So, extra bonus there. If you happen to have vacuum on your companion, you now have a easy way to collect much of the loot in the game, anything that you don't have to explicitly interact with. Interacting with things can be a little bit tricky on Marlena, I'll just say that, but it's doable. And that's her third. Her fourth ability is called Riptide. This is maybe it's strong at low levels, but it's maybe the weakest thing at the higher levels. It can be modded up quite a bit. Okay, what it does is it collects enemies that are close by and puts them into a vortex of water. Okay, which lasts a period of time and does damage over time. Okay, it does initial damage, and the more enemies you have in it, the more damage it does, because the enemies are colliding with each other just as much as they are being swirled around in the water. The longer it goes, the more damage gets done. And it's a pretty effective little thing early on. Now, Riptide and Aqua Blades are kind of tied for the one that you might consider doing something else with. Aqua Blades, like I said, they're really great at low levels, but at high levels, when you're dealing with high level enemies, they don't do all that much damage. But they're great, like I said, for opening up containers. So, all right, so that's what her abilities are. First thing we need is an aura. Well, we don't have a lot of choices in the aura for her. The only one that really applies because of it using the Matter Eye polarity is we need Dreamer's Bond because it's the generic polarity. It works with everything. Okay. So we'll put Dreamer's Bond on there. What we need, oh, and I'm going to explain something right now. So notice on Marilena, okay, notice on Aqua Blades. No, actually, I was thinking about a different Warframe. Never mind. So duration on Aqua Blades is useful. It's really useful on Riptide. Duration doesn't have, if we look at our things here, duration here is, which one? Continuity. So we're going to look at this right now and put continuity on here just so you can see what continuity does. Continuity will affect the duration of the sea stairs. Okay. It will not have any effect on Marilena at all. Okay. But it will hugely increase the duration of the Aqua Blades, and it makes the Riptide go further. So duration is a really good thing on Yareli. Another really good thing is strength. If we look at strength, we put strength on by itself. Okay, you can see it's increased the damage per second, it's increased the damage vulnerability, it's increased the damage increase per second. So for sea snares, this actually Intensify gives you more health for Marilena, so it's excellent. It's #1 thing. It increases the damage that the Aqua Blades do. It increases the damage that the Riptide does. So Intensify is possibly the most important thing you can do here. Strength is the key. Okay, and if we have strength, okay, we also have the possibility of putting Blind Rage on here. And I'll come back to that in a minute. So I'm going to take Intensify off. All right. The other thing that you can put on here is range. Now, range is here we go. This is a range one. Okay, so Augur Reach. I've added some range to this. Range on sea snares is useful, but it's not hugely useful. Same thing. Marilena, no really effect. Aqua Blades, no real effect. Although I think it does actually change the radius of the Aqua Blades. It doesn't say what the radius is. I'm not certain about that. It does increase the range and the radius of the Riptide. So range is not as critical as strength and duration. Those two are our key things that we want to have. Okay, so strength. Now let's look at Blind Rage. Blind Rage can give us even more strength than Intensify. Okay, Intensify is giving us only 30%. Blind Rage is giving us 72 ability for strength. That's darn good. The downside is that it drops the efficiency, which means you can't cast things as often. So if we put Blind Rage on here, okay, oh, and we are going to put that catalyst on here, the reactor, sorry, on here. All right, so if we put Blind Rage on here, our efficiency drops to a lousy 60%. Okay, it's terrible. Okay, but if we put Streamline on here to increase our efficiency, okay, we can at least bring it back to 90. Okay, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to put both of those on there. I am going to put Intensify on here as well. Okay, because I want the most strength we got. We're now over 200 strength. Okay. I believe we can't do any more strength. We don't have any more mods that increase strength. So our next step is duration. Oh, we also want to absolutely have flow. We need more energy. Okay. All right. And all right, so we have two things that can give us duration. We have continuity, and we have augur message. Okay, both of those will increase our duration somewhat. Okay, So we're at 154 in duration. There are none of the rest of these will actually do any more duration than what we've got here. Okay, which leaves us with 8. Now 8 left. The only thing I can put on here that makes any sense is shield capacity. Shield capacity, we don't need to do health because 90% of whenever we're on Marlena, 90% of our damage is just whisked away. The shield should be enough to take care of most of the rest. Okay, so we're going to put some better shields on her right now. Okay, armor, not as important because it shouldn't get through your shields. Health, not as important because it shouldn't get through your shield and armor. Okay. The key thing is to keep Marlena up and running as much as possible in a mission. Now, I'm going to throw an arcane on here. We have one, which is arcane healing. Because you can be affected by status effects while you're doing things. Now, I happen to have 2 special mods for Yareli. One of them is Marlena Guardian. Marlena Guardian basically means if you do sea snares, when you do the sea snares and kill the enemies that are captured by the sea snares, Marlena's health regenerates. Okay? And as soon as it does, you get 50% extra reload speed and fire rate on secondary weapons for 8 seconds. So if you keep casting sea snares and you keep killing things that are done with sea snares, you can be getting a 50% bonus on reload and fire rate constantly. Really useful. And you're going to be boosting Marlena's health, healing Marlena of all the damage she's taking as you're going. Loyal Marlena changes how Marlena works. You're no longer riding Marlena. Instead, Marlena is following you and casting sea snare for you, which can stack on top of your own sea snares. Okay, and it lets you use primary and melee weapons, which you couldn't use otherwise. Both of these are going to be part of my config B and config C. I'm going to have a config A which doesn't use either of these. That's what I'm going to work on first. That's what I'm going to work on tonight. And given how much time we've spent, it may be the only thing we work on tonight. Later, I'll be doing examples of both builds for these. Now, these both came from our Cephalon Suda standing. We bought them as soon as we started building Yareli because we knew we needed to have them. And they are very different styles of play. I want to show both of them because I'm going to be using different ones at different times when I'm using Yareli. They just have completely different uses for play. So we've got Yareli, we've got modded up, we're ready to go. I'm going to take her into a mission. And hi. Oh, she also has some really nice emotes and stuff. And it's kind of cute in terms of aesthetics. There's a lot you can do with her aesthetic-wise. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go do Sanctuary Onslaught. And the first round of this might be a little tricky because we do not have Marlena yet. But we have our primary weapons and Dread, and we'll give them a workout. So here we go. And we have a decent shield. And we also happen to have a pretty good group here, it looks like. What do we got? We got a Volt, a Wukong Prime, and a Yareli. Why didn't that let me in? Okay, so we're armed with... Look at that. We're doing... Just doing one-shots with the Dread. We're doing pretty good. Oh, and because we have no shield, And I'm not actually running around like I should. Okay. Which I should be. Oh, and I'm invisible now. That's nice. Okay, so I'm gonna... You see the dread was really good. Okay. I'm firing my Lex Prime right now. You can see we're getting yellow crits out of the Lex Prime. And now we're gonna go do some melee for a bit until we rank things up. So the Amphis is not bad. We've been sped up by volts, so that makes it us really quite survivable right now. Well, and our 2 is ready, so here we go. Marlena. We're now on Marlena. Now we're stuck with the Lex. The only thing we can use is the Lex. But... And it's so slow, that Lex. But look at this. Okay, so we do our 1. You can see that, how that works there. Alright. And we... Oops. Now the downside of moving around such a landscape with... Oh, and I just hit my... Because I'm so used to hitting my E for a lot of attacks. This is a terrible... That's like one of the worst maps for using Marlena on. So, we get Marlena back out. And now we can go... You do have a higher jump than your typical K-Drive by default. Oh, I need a fast. The Lex is just too slow for this. I mean, yes, it's doing yellow crits, so yay. But still. Okay. Let's do some C-snares. You can see how they pick things up. You shoot them, and they die. Okay. Oh, our 3 is ready, so let's put that on. There's our 3. So there's this. Now, as we go around, we don't even have to shoot at things. Not at this level, at least. Look at that. They just are dying outright right now. Just by me running around. I don't even need to be shooting at them. And look at that. Look at how long that is lasting with our duration. And, oops. And you just cast it again. It's 35 seconds right now. And we barely started ranking up. Come over to here. Now something like that, that's an Excamix. There we go. Eventually it'll do its thing. And now we gotta go back down here. Now, I will say the biggest challenge to using Yareli. Oh man, wait, 3, thank you. The biggest challenge to using Yareli is maneuvering around the spaces like this. Oh my goodness, it's just a tough space to maneuver around. But little short taps will keep you moving. And will also keep killing things. And they just eventually die. Now, if you notice on the right, there's a 6,192 number there. That is Marilina's health. It will keep going down. Yeah, you can see that I don't take much damage. I'm standing right next to these things, and they're attacking me. And notice your abilities are also independent of each other here. Oh, where the heck did I go? I don't know who J-Roll 1988 is, but he keeps getting killed. I'll go on. Yareli is remarkably good at surviving Sanctuary Onslaught. I don't know how good she is at Elite Sanctuary Onslaught yet. There we go. Now let's start killing things. I mean, you can see, I'm standing here. Look at my shield. This is not being touched. Okay? And there's our 4. Let's go show you what the 4 does. Let's find a nice clump of them, if I can find one. We've got some other people doing a good job of killing. There's a clump. 4. That's our 4. And at this level, at least, it's killing them right outright. Okay. Where is J-Roll? Now the problem is... Oh, yep, somebody revived him. I'll stick around them and see if I can take some of the heat off of them. There we go. You can see how that works with this. It's very effective. You just recast it. There we go. There's a big one. We did quite a bit of damage there. Oh, I left him, and where is he at? Oh, somebody's reviving him. Alright, so we'll go to zone 5. Okay. Get on Marilena. That is the first step you should always do, even if you don't have energy for anything else. Okay? Because without Marilena, your survivability is not great. Once you have some energy, and you can do things like, oops, nope, shoot. You can actually go ahead and, oh, I didn't want to be here. There's some energy. Alright, so now we're starting to take things out. Now we have some energy, which is what we needed. Well, that didn't really work. And he's down again. Man, that guy just keeps dropping. Oh, but he's been revived. There we go. Get something big in there. Got rid of him, finally. And J-Roll is down again. Alright. We're back in here. Oh, this is a much more rideable map. The key about the movement is to keep that 200. See, it'll go away if I stop moving. Like that. Oh, shoot. I need to... Ah, there we go. There's some energy. That's what I was hoping for. And they die as you keep going by. Yeah, you really want a better secondary weapon than we have here. The Lex Prime is not the best secondary weapon for this. Our efficiency's dropping. That's not good. I don't know if we're going to be able to do anything about that. especially if I don't find any more enemies to kill. There's one. Down to 23. I don't think we're going to make it through Zone 7. I need some energy. I see an energy. Oh, and I see a Jade Light Estimate that I need to come over here to avoid. Yeah. Oh.
Specimens must experience unmatched stress. Increase your effort.
Yeah, we're at... I can at least start doing that for a bit.
Hunter,
From little things, big things grow,
You
dreamers.
are far more exciting and
believe in you
complex than
all.
any specimen in my sanctuary.
So that's the basics of Yareli. I will continue to do more with Yareli in a little bit. We're going to quickly switch over to doing Octavia instead. Oh, I got a core neuroptics blueprint. I think I already had one. Yes, we are still missing the Core S Systems blueprint. Okay. So, I'm going to come back here. We're going to come over to this. And I'm going to claim Octavia. I want to do a very quick... It's hard to do a quick rundown of Octavia, because Octavia is just very complicated Warframe. Okay. Octavia is a music-based frame. Now, we don't have enough Nightwave credit left to buy another Orokin reactor, so I'm going to put one on there by using Platinum. We'll take Octavia Prime. We know Octavia Prime is going to be one that we use a lot. We're going to upgrade her, and I'm going to put a reactor on her. Actions, upgrade, yes. Okay. Now, Octavia is, you may have guessed by the name, a music-based frame. Okay. The first thing is the passive. When you use abilities with Octavia, you replenish energy over a period of time. Okay. Not just for you, but for also allies within the area. Okay. All right. Her abilities are based on her music. Okay. The mallet is a percussion instrument. Okay. It produces percussion on the bass. When it's running, okay, the mallet will attract fire from enemies. Enemies will want to shoot it. Okay. And when it it increases how much damage it does instead of actually doing anything. So each time they shoot at it, it does more damage to them. Okay, until it's killing things pretty easily. Okay, her number 2 is called a resonator. The resonator is kind of a bit of a... It's not a great thing, in my opinion. It moves the mallet. Basically, it picks up the mallet and moves it around and causes enemies to follow it. Okay. The problem is it moves around on its own whim and it's not very controllable. So it kind of interferes more with the mallet than it helps, in my opinion. Okay. The metronome is its big area effect thing. Well, it's not really a big area effect. What this does is it's a buff. Sorry, I'm confusing the two. This one is the buff. Number 3 is the buff. Basically, when number 3 is on, depending upon which thing you do, okay, you can get a speed buff, you can get invisibility, you can get multi-shot, or you can get extra melee damage. Okay, the invisibility is the one that is most commonly used. In order to do that, you have to do these things based on the beat, okay, of the music. If you do a timed jump, if you jump, you're going to get speed. Okay, all right. If you do a timed crouch, you're going to get the invisibility. If you're doing timed shots, you're going to get the multi-shot. And if you do timed melee swings, you're going to get the damage buff. Okay. It's a little complicated to use. Actually, it's a lot complicated to use. And it gets even more complicated when you think about how you're going to get those beats, which I'll get to in a minute. Finally, you have the amp. The amp basically goes and takes all the sound in the area from the 1 and the 3 in particular, okay, and amplifies a damage buff for Octavia and her allies, okay, and it's doubling the damage and range of nearby mallets. If you've got multiple Octavias working together, that can be huge, all right. So the way you play her usually is you put on your 1, you put on your 3, you put on your 4, you crouch up and down really quick to become invisible, okay, to match your beat so that you become invisible, and then you let all of your other abilities kill pretty much everything in sight. It's very effective once you've ranked her up. Now, I'm not going to put a mod on her yet, because the first thing you need to understand about her is the mandicord. The mandicord is her musical instrument. It's the thing that she plays. It's actually herself. Okay. The mandicord has a default song in it. And a lot of people use the default song and then are like, how the heck does this Warframe actually work? It's terrible. Okay. Well, it's not. Okay. But you really want to change the default song. First off, I don't like the song. It's boring. There are sites, and I will eventually link to those sites once I have time to actually look them up, which make real music, like take songs and put them on here. Okay. All right. But that's not what we want to do. All right. What we want to do, you can save songs. I'm going to save this song. Okay. We have 6 song slots available. I'm going to save this as the original song. Because once you clear it, you don't have a way of easily getting it back. Well, you do, but it's not a great thing. So having saved that, I can now, if I wanted to, load the song. Okay. All right. Now, I have 2 instruments. I have Adele instruments, and I have bombast instruments. Okay. That's the Adele instruments. Okay. All right. And if I go load song, because this is Octavia Prime, she comes with 2 different things. Oh, that's a much better song than the first one. I like this so much better than the standard one. Okay, but it's still not where we want to be. So if I go back to a DAW, it would go back to the original song. Okay, so I actually don't need that. I think default is the same song. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear the notes. There we go. I have no music. It's quiet. Isn't that wonderful? And I'm going to pause it because I don't want it to be doing anything right now. Okay, I am going to select my percussion. I have bombast instruments and add-on instruments. I want bombast instruments for all three of these because I like those better. Sounds much better. And then you have a melody one. I'm not certain I like that one much better. It's quieter. I like it. I'll take it. You can purchase other instrument packs. People have. You can hear what they sound like. TOG doesn't sound bad. I'm not spending platinum though for instruments right now. I'll use the bombast. Okay, so you can do that. You can isolate the different tracks so that you can hear just one track at a time or two tracks at a time to see what it sounds like. The mallet will do this first one. Okay, so if I go, there's no sound on this last one. So that is an interesting thing right there. Okay, so it has a blank sound that is the beat. The mallet is not the thing that you're basing your most of your actions on. Your actual actions go based on the metronome. Okay, so if you notice there are 5 notes there. It's a kind of a pentatonic scale. Okay, and what I like to do is make the metronome go off on every other one. And by doing it this way, you don't have to do it as fast. You do have to do it on the beat. So if I play this, okay, so I would be firing boom, 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 boom. I would be pressing a key. Now, if I thought that was too fast, I could slow it. Can I slow it down? I don't know if I can change the speed of this. Nope, I can't. You can't actually adjust the speed of playback. All right, so if that's too fast for you to do this, what you can do is you can take it and just do it on every bar. The thing is, if you do it just on every bar, and then you have to rotate it. To rotate it, you just put your mouse here and you rotate it left and rotate it right. You can see the whole thing. Okay. There are 4 measures here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it loops. Okay. All right. The other approach you can do is something like this. Now, you can do it like that, or you could even do something like this. You would have to turn off one of these. So, programming your song into this can be a tricky thing. And you're going to have to practice to find out what works for you. Okay. All right. And then we get the resonator. All right. And I'm just going to make the resonator work the same way. You get something that sounds a little bit like Stranger Things. Okay. And then like I said, we have percussion. But interestingly, if you notice, this is it doesn't do anything on this one. So if you want silent percussion, that's perfectly good. Okay, I actually like it better the other way. I think it'll get better this way. And then I'm going to use the volume mixer to knock the percussion down, because that's a little loud. And the melody is a little too shrill, so I'll knock that down a bit, and I'll knock the bass down. That's not too bad. So we'll just repeat that pattern all the way through and see what we get. Okay. So all we're doing up here is we're going to go up and down and up and down. You want an even pattern. And it's really simple what I'm doing here. I'm just going up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down on every single one. Okay. And then if I find that this is too hard for me to get the bonuses that I want, I can put it on every other one instead. And I forgot to do the melody section on these, so There we go. We now have composed a song. I'm going to go down here and save this as new slot. We're going to call this easy play. And all of this is just this pattern looping over and over again. And that sounds a little boring, and it's going to get annoying over time, so I'm going to knock the volumes down even more. Okay. That is what people will hear when they're playing a game. If you leave the volume up on maximum, they're going to hear the whole song on maximum with the people you're playing with. They will appreciate it better if it's not on maximum. Trust me. I'm going to take that percussion down just a little more. There we go. It's quiet, relatively speaking, but it's still hearable. Maybe put the bass up just a little bit because you want to be able to hear the beat a little. Okay, so that's where we're going with this. I'm going to save it again over my existing easy play so that it remembers it. Okay, and I'm going to exit it. And I will save those, yes. All right. So that is the Manda chord. That is how you create music. You can experiment with that for hours, days, if you want to. There are people, like I said, who made real music out of that thing. Okay, so now we can mod our Octavia. And when we look at things here, all right, so first thing we look at is what's the effect of strength? Okay, ability strength is going to increase the damage multiplier here, the damage for charm here, the armor increase here, the speed increase here, the multi-shot, the melee damage. Strength is one of the key things on this. Okay, and the other key thing on this, all right, is, where is it? Continuity. This is duration. Duration, okay, increases everything. Everything is duration based. It is the most important stat of Octavia, even over strength, although a strength duration build here. And unlike Yareli, range, okay, with Augur Reach gives us range. We don't have a lot of things that can do that. Stretch is the only other thing we have. If I put Augur Reach on here, you now see the radius on this increases drastically. So this is one of those frames where you want to mod up all three of those as best as you can. Okay, now Blind Rage can be used just like before. All right, but notice we don't have that polarity. So, first off, let's put a aura on here. Again, we're forced to use Dream Respawn because we don't have any better aura. We do have to start getting better auras. All right. Blind Rage, like I said, could be a very useful thing to have on here. If we stick it on there, okay, our efficiency drops out to 60, okay, which means that it's expensive to cast these things. Look at that, 105, 140, 135 to cast Mallet. You want to at least have a Mallet up at all times, okay, but you really want to have the Metronome and the Mallet up at all times. The amp you put up when you have the energy to put up. Blind Rage is hurting us here because the efficiency is so low. Okay, so I'm going to take that off for right now. We are definitely putting continuity on here. We're definitely putting intensify on here. Okay, we have to put flow on here. We need more energy. There's no question about this. Okay, we have to put streamline on here because we need efficiency. Okay, no matter what we do here. And we need range. Okay, which right now Augur Message is, no, not Augur Message, Augur Reach. Okay. Augur Message is useful because it gives us more duration. Okay. All right. And what does that leave us with for the rest of our things? Shields could be useful. We could put a redirection on here. We have the polarity. I don't know if there's anything else in that polarity that's going to give us anything really useful. No, I don't think so. Okay. The survivability of Octavia is relying on getting up your mallet and your amp and going invisible for much of the setup. Okay. That leaves us with 8 left when we've done all this. Okay. We can see that we've got a decent duration now. We've got on these things. We have better efficiency. We have better range. We have better strength. Okay. Can we increase any of these further? Duration. Oh, it's not what I want to do. Somehow I got there. Duration. The only other thing we can do, we can't do any duration stuff. We don't have any more duration mods that apply. Do we have any more range mods? We do, actually. What? Oh, I'm in Vazarin. Sorry. Let's go back. We have stretch. I could put a stretch on here, okay, to give us more range. And it's probably a good idea, okay? And since we've never ranked up stretch, I'm going to put 4 ranks into her because that's the maximum we can fit in here. Okay. So we have a pretty solid build right now. We have a range of 168, which is not stellar, but is okay. All right. We have strength. Could we have put any more strength on here? The only other strength we could put into here is blind rage. We could definitely increase the strength of this at the cost of our efficiency. And we might eventually do that once we put some forma into this. Okay. But we don't have space for a 13 Vazarin polarity, Naramon Matarai polarity right now in this particular Warframe. We need forma. Even though it has 3 polarities available to us, none of them are the Matarai polarity. Okay, and you notice we have 2 mods already. We're talking about putting a 3rd one on with that polarity. And this one is already the biggest mod in the on the frame. So we're going to want to polarize this at some point. Okay, but let's see how she plays right now. I'm going to put an empty arcane slot. I'm going to put the arcane healing in here just because I can. And we are ready to take Octavia Prime out for her test spin. So when we go into Sanctuary Onslaught, okay, we're only going to have that mallet available at first. So we're not going to be able to go invisible. We're going to have to rely on our melee and our shields to survive until then. Okay. But that should only be for the first few minutes. Okay. So you can see the range is already a decent size. Ooh, I can barely hear that. And it didn't last all that long, did it? You can barely hear the music in the background. I've probably made it too low. You notice we have full energy. Okay? That is because when we use our ability, we gain back energy. We're gaining back more energy. Okay. So now I can go 1 and 2. So that's the resonator, and the resonator is going to carry this away. And you can see the beat it's using as we do. We're going to follow it. So our area effect is going based on that. You see, it does damage. Does a decent amount of damage already. We barely started, and it's doing damage. And notice they're going after it and not after me. You can hear the music a little more clearly now, the bass. Now you can see why the second one gets in the way sometimes, because if you want to stay still, it may go in a completely different direction than you want to go. You kind of have to follow it. Alright, let's go find that data conduit. Alright, so we got the metronome up. Oh, that's not the way to go. Conduit's down here.
Hunter, you are running out of time. Enter the data conduit.
Alright, so now we have the 1 and the 3. So if I go 1 and I go 3, I've now got something I can go and do. And now I'm invisible. For a pretty long period of time. Alright. Alright. So that is that. Okay. Alright. But it takes some energy. You do gain back energy as it's going. And then you can go, oh, somebody gave us a lot of energy. Good. I wonder if there's another Octavia here. Nope. Doesn't look like it. There I am. I'm invisible again. Now I could, while I'm doing this, I could shoot at things. With my dread. And if you're invisible, you get the stealth bonus when you're shooting at things. Now we really have to work on duration. Duration's not anywhere near big enough. Get invisible again. Go to the next one. Now when Amp comes in, that's when everything will be much more effective at killing things, which is not going to be long now, I don't think. Alright, we're invisible now. I don't have any targets. Yeah, you see all those blue things? That's my stuff doing that. And the duration's getting better, slowly as it ranks up. But we haven't ranked up to 10 yet. There you go, I'm nice and invisible now. That's going around doing its thing. Wandering up and down stairs. Again, following it around can be a problem. Alright. Alright, here we go. There's our amp. You can see it covers a nice area. You can see it's doing more damage. And it builds up. That damage can build up quite a lot. And I'm invisible now. Pretty much anything that comes in here will... Oh. And we can see why duration is so important. We want the duration to be much higher than it currently is. You can refresh it before it goes away, too. Oh. You can see we're doing a decent amount of damage now. As is Dread, by the way. The amp has the longest. Oops, sorry. I should be invisible. Ah, pretty. I gotta get my duration way up on these. There we go. You have to be... It might be too fast right now, the...
A new data conduit is open. Our experiment moves to a new zone.
We're going to Zone 6 already. That's not bad. There we are. We're now invisible. Up. And now I'm invisible. See if somebody revives me. Doesn't look likely. I could be wrong. There we go.
The path to greatness is walked one
This is
step
probably my
at a
last.
time.
If you refresh the metronome before it goes away. Oops. Yeah, we definitely need more duration on her. There is a wonderful thing called narrow-minded, which I believe it's narrow-minded, which increases duration at the cost of efficiency, I think it is. And you can see we're doing even more damage. Look at how much damage we're doing over there to that guy. Okay. And our range keeps increasing too. Yeah, I definitely need a longer durational metronome though. Oh, I can't.
A data conduit is open. Go now. Hurry, Hunter. The conduit
All right, that's it for me,
Hunter, the sanctuary will go
and that's
on
it for the
without
night. Got a couple of relics out of that. We ranked up our Octavia Prime quite a bit. We finished ranking up our 3 new weapons. We will do more with Yareli and Octavia next time we meet, which will be maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I'm not sure which. And as you can see, we'll actually do a little bit of modding at the last thing we do here. Sadly, the mod that I want for Octavia Prime, we need more duration. That's all there is to it. We definitely need more duration. We are at metronome rank 1. Okay, the duration will increase for the next level of metronome. Okay, it might increase enough by itself. Okay, as you can see, the duration's already up to 30 seconds here, where it was like at 15 seconds before. And this duration is already at 46 seconds. So maybe we're good enough once we finish leveling up. But even more duration is worthwhile. Even more strength would be worthwhile. We could do that at the cost of efficiency. That would give us strength at the cost of efficiency. What I would rather do is duration at the cost of efficiency in order to do that. Because then we don't have to cast it as often. But the passive will have more time to replenish our energy so that we can keep doing all of our abilities. So if we're firing 3 abilities, okay, all right, if they all last over 30 seconds and they all cost a total of less than 90, which right now these 3 abilities are a little more than that, okay, but we can get energy from other sources. We'll have a pretty good energy economy going on here. Not this one, sorry, this one. So this, and this. So it's not 90, but, okay, if this one lasts considerably longer than this one. So if we're just doing the ones as they need it, okay. And again, I'm usually probably going to be skipping Resonator just because it moves the thing, and that isn't what we want. If we want that people to target our mallet and stay targeting it, because the more they target it, the more damage it does. Okay. If you stick that in the middle of a pile of enemies and they target it, okay, they will be doing a massive amount of damage themselves, especially if we get our strength up good enough. If we could get a better aura mod, like something that strips armor, that would be even better. So there's a lot we can do with Octavia. We'll do what we can with her right now. The only other thing I might do is right now is increase stretch, because there's we don't have any more duration mods. If I had another duration mod, I would put it on her in a second, but right now the only duration mods we have are on there already. So I'm going to rank this up one last time, and that's the only thing I'm going to do for her right now. Okay, that just gives us a little bit more range, and the range, as you may notice, is increasing with each one of these things. So we're already at a radius of 17.5 meters for this, and for the metronome is a radius of 14 meters. It'll go up a little higher, and for our amp, it's also at 17.5 meters. So we're doing a really good job, with ranking her up, and she will be one of the most effective frames we have. Between her and Yareli and Wukong right now, because we don't have Titania, they're going to become some of the most used frames we have. Yareli can tank instead of Rhino in a lot of places. Octavia can do a lot of the same things that Mirage can, in that she does major damage to large amounts of things and has pretty good survivability in Sanctuary Onslaught. Maybe not so much in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, at least until we get her modded even higher. So we have a lot of work to do, and that is where we're going to leave things right now. The Dread, we could probably put an Organ Catalyst on this. Okay, if we really wanted to turn this into a good weapon, and Dread is a very good weapon. Look at that critical chance already. That's before we've even done anything else to it. I could put on, let's see, something like, I could increase, we've already got Vital Sense on here. I could increase that. All right. We could put multi-shot on here. Multi-shot is not the best of things for a bow. It can work. It can do more damage, but it's just not as good for a bow as a lot of other things. However, if I go and I look at fire rate, like this one was, this is 30% fire rate, times 2 for bows, okay, I'm now firing faster. I'm charging faster, okay, which lets me fire even better, okay. There are other ways to increase criticals. The Lex Prime here, yeah, nice weapon, especially with its decent, it's got a decent critical chance and status, but it just doesn't do, it's just too slow and doesn't do enough damage right now to be the weapon that we want to use for Yareli in particular. For Yareli, we're probably looking at something of the things that we have, like the new core. The new core is not a crit weapon. Okay, it has an okay, it has no crit to speak of. Okay, but it has comparatively a decent fire rate. And what happens when we increase it, I believe, and don't quote me on this, that the critical chance on Yareli on secondary weapons is additive and not multiplicative. Okay, which means when this will go up to a significant amount. I think even on the new core, but don't quote me on that. I'm gonna have to test it to be sure. And that's where we're at. I might raise the volume. It's a little bit too low. All right, so that'll be a little bit higher. Save, yes. So we've adjusted the volume on that a little bit more. We don't, I believe, have any new Parazon mods. I would love to have new Parazon mods. I'm amazed that we have the mods that we have, to be honest, because my main account does not have Auto Breach and it does not have Blood for Life. So we are short a lot of Parazon mods on my main account. Speaking of other things, we did actually not do anything with that. So one thing I am going to do here is I'm going to upgrade Octavia, and I'm going to give her a lens. Actions. Oh, I'm not maxed ranked. Once I get her max rank, we'll give her a lens. I don't know about any of these other weapons, what we're going to do here. We'll probably be ranking up other weapons next time, so we'll see what happens there. And if you notice, we have already gotten 3 forma out of ranking up Nightwave.
Flash and bite.
Okay.
The day is won,
we have
not with a strike
a bunch of other things that we can do and will do.
About it.
I can mark 5 mods before I leave. Let's go do that.
Till then.
There we go. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Confirm. 5. Exit. I think that's what marking 5 mods is.
Nora's got the goods for one
Nope.
lucky dreamer.
Let's see what it
Who's
means
it
by
gonna be?
marking mods. Point. Oh. Oh. Okay. So when we get a mod, okay, that is in a mission, we have to waypoint it with our G key. Okay, now I know what that means. Okay. It's important to know. Okay. You think anything else that we haven't covered? We have done all of our daily standing for this today. Oh, we've maxed this out. Arbiters of Hexus out. We need some Aya. And we need more credits. So that will be a high priority the next time we do things. We need to get the Arbiters of Hexus up to the next level as fast as possible so that it doesn't languish behind. Cephalon Suda here has 60,000. We can continue to get mods from it, but I'm going to hold off. You notice we don't have, I don't believe. Oh, we do have two Octavia mods. I picked up a couple of Octavia mods. I just realized that. I don't think I picked up these. Why this would be partition mallet means you have 2 mallets. You get a second mallet with reduced range. Okay. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you consider that your amp doubles the damage that each mallet does, anything closer to you in that range will get double the damage because there are 2 mallets in that area. So that's a nice little augment. Okay. Conductor here. Okay. Gives you some control over that the resonator, but again, really the resonator is not. I don't want it moving. I want that to stay still. It's the enemies. If it's moving, a moving target is harder to hit, and you want it to be hitting the mallet so it does more damage. Okay, so I feel that the resonator is kind of counterproductive. I believe I've already bought the other 2 mods for Octavia that are there. Let me see, go back here. We're in Octavia, go to upgrade, and I go and look at Octavia. No, I have not bought those other mods. I thought there were 2 more mods, but I could be wrong. Or maybe Cephalon Suda doesn't have those. That's a possibility. Hold on, let me see something. So, Arbiters of Hexus.
Will these help you?
Nope. If I go to... probably. I bet your parent sequence has it.
This is what we offer.
Nope. Somebody else has to have Octavia mods.
You're just like the rest, tainted and ruined beyond salvation.
Oh, maybe there are only 2. That would be surprising. Most Warframes have 4 mods for Octavia. For one for each of the abilities. Nope. And last but not least, we'll try Steel Meridian.
You turned your back on a lot of innocent people, Tenno. What do you care?
Doesn't look like there's any other Octavia mods. So the only ones we have available through Cephalon Suda right now.
See anything interesting?
Which is the partition mallet, which might be of use. I can see a very good use for that. So I will buy that.
Curious.
And we'll experiment with that in the future. Okay, so there we go. This is Steve, your Grumpy Old Warframe, signing off for the night, and I will see you either tomorrow or on Wednesday. Ta-ta for now.